The Constitutional Tribunal is the constitutional court of the Republic of Poland. A judicial body established to resolve disputes on the constitutionality of the activities of state institutions. Its main task is to supervise the compliance of statutory law with the Constitution of the Republic of Poland. Its creation was a request of the Solidarity movement following its 1981 National Congress that took place a few weeks before the introduction of martial law. The tribunal was established on 26 March 1982 and judges took office on 1 January 1986. The tribunal's powers increased in 1989 with the transition to the capitalist Third Polish Republic, and in 1997 with establishment of a new constitution. The constitution mandates that its 15 members are elected by the Sejm, the lower house, for 9 years. It was the subject of an appointment crisis in 2015. It should not be confused with the Supreme Court of Poland. The Constitutional Tribunal adjudicates on the compliance with the constitution of legislation and international agreements, on disputes over the powers of central constitutional bodies, and on compliance with the constitution of the aims and activities of political parties. It also rules on constitutional complaints. The Constitutional Tribunal is made up of 15 judges chosen by the Sejm RP for single 9-year terms. The Constitutional Tribunal constitutes one of the formal guarantees of a state grounded on the rule of law. 3 judges, appointed by the President of the Tribunal, serve as members of the National Electoral Commission. The Constitutional Tribunal was established by the amendment of the Constitution of the People's Republic of Poland on 26 March 1982. Due to the brevity of the introduced Article 33a, it was decided that a law must be brought forth that would outline the proceedings of the Constitutional Tribunal. This became an intricate process with 15 drafts developed, and the final act was ratified by the Sejm on 29 April 1985, which allowed for the formal commencement of the tribunal's judicial proceedings on 1 January 1986. But the court's competence and judicial capacity were limited at this time, as all rulings on the constitutionality of bills could be dismissed by a 2/3 majority vote in the Sejm. This in effect would place the rulings in an indefinite moratorium, as these votes rarely occurred. On 24 January 1986 the first motion, reference U-186, was brought before the Constitutional Tribunal on behalf of the Presidium of the Provincial National Council in Wrocław. The claimants sought to contend 2 paragraphs of the Ordinance of the Council of Ministers in regard to the sale of state property and the procedures and costs related to it is unconstitutional. In opposition to the government's stance, the court ruled in a 3-member panel on 28 May 1986 that the introduced paragraphs were unconstitutional. The Council of Ministers called for a re-evaluation of the case, but on 5 November 1986 the Constitutional Tribunal upheld its ruling. In 1989 the Constitutional Tribunal's powers expanded as it secured the right to universally decide on the binding interpretation of laws. Many changes came with the enactment of the 1997 Constitution. The number of judges increased from 12 to 15. Terms of office were elongated by 1 year for a total of 9 years. And the tribunal lost its competence to decide the interpretation of legal statutes. In June 2015, the Sejm of the 7th tenure enacted a new provision on the Constitutional Tribunal in which it sought to transfer the power of election of all Constitutional Tribunal judges whose term ended in 2015 to the Sejm. Subsequently, 5 judges were elected by the Sejm on 8 October 2015 and an additional 5 on 2 December 2015 by the Sejm of the 8th tenure, which resulted in what was known as the 2015 Polish Constitutional Court crisis. Between November 2015 and December 2016, 6 so-called remedial bills which were devised by the Law and Justice Party were enacted, and in December 2016 the President of the Constitutional Tribunal replaced 3 judges appointed by the 7th tenure with 3 judges from the 8th tenure. Since the reform and takeover of the Constitutional Tribunal by politicians from the ruling party, the independence and sovereignty of the institution has been criticized and often called a puppet court by many Polish judges' associations and foreign judicial organizations, and also by their counterparts in the constitutional tribunals of other countries. In February 2020, former Constitutional Tribunal judges, including former presidents of the tribunal Andrei Replinsky, Marek Safyan, Jerzy Stepien, Bohdan Zdzieniecki and Andrzej Zoll, stated, "We, the undersigned retired judges of the Constitutional Tribunal, regret to state that the actions of the legislature and the executive since 2015, and the Constitutional Tribunal leadership since 2017, have led to a dramatic decline in the significance and the prestige of this constitutional body. As well,